Most people think careers are won through competence. Do great work, keep your head down, be reliable, and eventually someone will notice and you'll be rewarded. But Gail Evans, known for being the highest-ranking female executive at cable news network, spent years at the highest levels of media and came to a very different conclusion. In her novel, Play Like a Man, Win Like a Woman, she argues that countless women enter the workplace believing success operates like a classroom. Work hard, get an A, move to the next level. The issue with this way of thinking is that careers are not classrooms. They're competitions, they're negotiations, they're political environments filled with unwritten rules that nobody wants to share or explain because it's in their best interest not to. One of Evans' most memorable observations is that many men grow up learning how to compete long before they enter an office. Through sports, games, and social hierarchies, they absorb lessons about winning, losing, risk-taking, and visibility. On the contrary, women are taught to focus on preparation, cooperation, and avoiding mistakes. They're taught to be docile, to listen more, to be helpful, to focus on the family or the group's interests rather than their own. And what is the result? Well, oftentimes, two equally talented people can enter the same company and achieve completely different outcomes. Not because one is smarter, not because one works harder, but because one understands the game. And according to Evans, the object of the game is to win. In this video, we'll be breaking down the most important lessons from Gail Evans' Play Like a Man, Win Like a Woman, and exploring why these ideas remain increasingly relevant decades after the book was first published. This is Black Satin Theory. The first lesson is to stop treating work like school. One of Evans's central arguments is that women are often rewarded in childhood for being responsible, obedient, prepared, and hospitable. Those traits will undoubtedly help you succeed in creating a family and perhaps even academically. They will not automatically help you rise to the top of the food chain in the professional world. The workplace rewards a completely different set of behaviors: visibility, initiative, influence, strategic thinking. Evans repeatedly challenges the assumption that doing excellent work guarantees recognition. In reality, organizations are filled with many talented and qualified people whose contributions remain invisible. When everyone is at the same level as you, it becomes harder to make yourself distinct and stand out from the crowd. Consider the story of Katherine Johnson at NASA. Her mathematical calculations helped make some of America's most important space missions possible. Yet for years, much of her work remained largely unknown outside her immediate circles. The lesson isn't that competence doesn't matter. The lesson is that competence alone isn't enough. Evans argues that successful professionals understand that work and recognition are separate challenges. You must do the work, and then you must ensure the right people understand the value of that work. The game isn't won merely by producing results. It's won when those results become visible. The second lesson is that the person who speaks up often gets credit. One of the most uncomfortable truths in the book is that perception often influences advancement as much as performance. Evans encourages women to become comfortable talking about accomplishments rather than assuming others will do it for them. Many people fear this feels arrogant, but Evans frames it differently. She argues that if nobody knows what you've accomplished, you've created a communication problem. Think about Indra Nooyi's rise at PepsiCo. Throughout her career, she became known not only for producing results, but for communicating vision. People understood what she contributed because she consistently connected her work to larger organizational goals. Contrast that with the countless employees who spend years waiting for a manager to discover their value. Waiting for discovery is not a strategy. Communication is. Evans wants readers to stop treating self-advocacy as bragging. The people making promotion decisions cannot reward achievements they never see. The third lesson is that men often apply before they're ready, so don't block your opportunities because you believe you're the only one underqualified. A recurring theme throughout the book is the difference between how men approach opportunity versus how women approach opportunity. Evans noticed that many women focus on qualifications they lack, whilst men will primarily focus on qualifications they already possess. This creates a dramatic difference in behavior. One person sees a challenge and asks, "Am I ready?" The other sees the same challenge and asks, "Why not me?" Consider Sarah Blakely before founding the company Spanx. She had no background in fashion, no experience running a billion-dollar company, no roadmap and no certainty. Yet she consistently moved forward despite lacking expertise. The pattern Evans identifies appears everywhere: promotions, leadership roles, major projects, career pivots. The people who advance fastest are rarely the people who feel completely prepared. They're the people willing to learn while moving. Evans isn't advocating recklessness. She's arguing against perfectionism, because perfectionism often disguises itself as responsibility while actually functioning as fear. The fourth lesson is that emotions are information, not instructions. Learn to not be so emotionally invested in outcomes so you can easily pivot if you don't receive the one you desired. One of the book's most practical lessons focuses on criticism. Evans writes about the importance of not taking every setback personally. This is easier said than done, especially in environments where feedback feels deeply connected to identity. Yet Evans argues that emotional detachment is a professional advantage. A rejected idea is data. A disagreement is data. A difficult conversation is data. Successful professionals learn to separate information from ego. A remarkable example is Ursula Burns, the first Black woman to become CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Throughout her rise at Xerox, Burns became known for direct communication and her willingness to engage in disagreement without interpreting every challenge as a personal attack. That ability allowed her to focus on solving problems rather than defending herself. Evans repeatedly returns to this idea. If every criticism becomes a wound, growth becomes impossible. If criticism becomes information, improvement becomes inevitable. The fifth lesson is that power is not a dirty word, so do not fear it. Many people dislike discussions about power because they associate power with manipulation. Evans disagrees. She argues that power is simply influence, the ability to shape outcomes, the ability to make things happen, the ability to move ideas from imagination into reality. People who avoid power often find themselves frustrated by those who understand it. Think about Madam C.J. Walker. She didn't simply create products. She built networks. She trained sales agents. She developed systems. She created influence. Her success wasn't just entrepreneurial, it was strategic. Evans encourages readers to pay attention to who influences decisions, who controls information, and who shapes conversations. Those people often possess more power than the organizational chart suggests. Understanding power doesn't make someone manipulative. Ignoring power makes someone vulnerable. The sixth lesson is to use the rules without losing yourself. The biggest misconception about this book is hidden in its title. Evans is not telling women to become men. She's telling women to understand the rules that many successful men have already learned. The goal is awareness, not imitation. Throughout the book, she emphasizes that women should use their own strengths while becoming more strategic about competition, influence, and advancement. Consider filmmaker Ava DuVernay. Her success didn't come from copying existing power structures. It came from understanding them well enough to navigate them while maintaining her own voice and perspective. That distinction matters, because winning doesn't require abandoning authenticity. It requires combining authenticity with strategy. The most effective leaders understand both people and power, both relationships and results, both substance and perception. And according to Evans, that combination is where true influence begins. At its heart, Play Like a Man, Win Like a Woman is a book about seeing the workplace clearly. Gail Evans challenges the comforting belief that talent automatically rises to the top. Instead, she argues that success belongs to people who understand the hidden rules governing opportunity. She teaches that visibility matters, that self-advocacy matters, that risk-taking matters, that emotional resilience matters, that power matters. And perhaps most importantly, she teaches that understanding the game does not require changing who you are. The lesson isn't to become someone else. The lesson is to stop walking onto the field blind. Because once you understand the rules, you stop hoping for opportunities. You start creating them, and that is the moment the game begins to shift in your favor. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're always notified when Black Satin Theory posts a new video. Feel free to leave comments in the comment section down below if this video was helpful to you. As always, we'll see you in the next video.